Welcome to the Trust Valley. And this afternoon, we will working about innovation, startup, digital trust, and we are here to know who is the startup selected. So, Tech4Trust is a program of startup acceleration. It is the first Swiss startup program in the field of digital trust and cybersecurity, and it is the second edition. Last year, there was 15 startups selected, and with successful first edition, it was a proof of concept. We worked with the Canton de Vaud to find a good format, to find a good message, to help startup to become scale-up. We can see some key elements with 300 different people participate to our public events, more than 20 articles mentioned in newspaper, TV show, and new website, and a very high-level overall satisfaction. Now I present to you my colleague, Alexandra Burnand. She is marketing and project manager of the Tech4Trust, and she will explain to you what we work, what we will do for this second edition. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I would like to present you the second edition of Tech4Trust. I guess you're all waiting the names of the startups selected for this edition. But yeah, I will make you wait a bit more and just give you first a few details about the program in general. So Tech4Trust, what is it? It is a 5-month acceleration program dedicated to more than 20 promising startups in the fields of trust, cybersecurity and trust. Sorry. This year, due at the beginning to the COVID measures, we have decided to organize a hybrid program. However, this is the good news also for some startups selected this year, because we have been able to open the program a bit more broadly and also welcome startups from Europe, not only Swiss startups. What is also new this year is that we have decided to put into place an advisory board. So what is the mission of the advisory board? They are here as experts. They have either technical or business backgrounds, and they will select the startups first participating in the program. So they have selected the startup participating in the program because we will announce the names of the more than 20 startups in the end later in this presentation. And they will also select the winners. What is really important to us for Tech4Trust is to have a high-quality contact. Maybe for the startup themselves, the peer-to-peer support they can bring to each other, but also the pool of mentors, of coaches, of trainers, because I will explain afterwards, this is a 5 months full of surprises. So just to sum up a bit, Tech4Trust in a nutshell. Tech4Trust is supported by more than 10 prestigious partners from the Trust Valley ecosystem, public, private, and academic sectors as well. It is a program dedicated to more than 20 promising startups in the fields of digital trust and cybersecurity. It is also the guarantee for the startups participating in the program to get a high visibility in Switzerland. Why? Because we will organize, I will get into detail afterwards, but a roadshow around Switzerland in 6 different cantons. And finally, we would like to offer to the startups to help them boost their project the expertise of a pool of more than 40 coaches, mentors, and also trainers. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners for their support. A special thanks to the Canton of Vaud, our main sponsor, and the Canton of Geneva, but also the various industrial and academical sponsors we have today on this screen. Thank you so much. They are supporting us in various ways. It could be also mentoring, the organization of joint events. I will also give you an overview afterwards. So for the formats, as I was mentioning, we guarantee to the more than 20, I don't want to say the number, I want to keep the surprise, startups that are selected a certain amounts of targeted mentoring sessions, but also an ongoing coaching among them during the 5 months. The roadshow events I was mentioning before, so they would happen in different cantons. However, I would like to mention that everyone can participate wherever they are, because you will see that we have also selected European startups, so probably they won't be able to come to each roadshow event. So this is really important to us to keep the program hybrid. And sorry, I was about to forget the workshops. The workshops will happen mainly online, actually, to make it easier. It will be a mix of workshop, technical-oriented or business-oriented. And last but not least, Pwc Sector Award. I don't know who in the room knew about the program. So that's a startup competition that PwC Switzerland has organized 2 years in a row. And this year, we have decided to join forces and really merge to offer to startups in the field of digital trust and cybersecurity a unique program dedicated to them, actually. So what it means for startups participating this year in the program is that they can win the Pwc Sector Award. As you can see the numbers on the screen, so this is in total 60,000 Swiss franc consulting services, consulting advice, and this will be given to the first startup, the second, and the third. So the advisory board members will decide who's first, second, and third at the end of the program, of course. So this is just to give you an overview of the program. I mentioned already a lot of things, but here we are today at the kickoff event in Lausanne at the RELX Learning Center. And as you can see, the final point will be the closing ceremony at the end of the month of February. We also have a third blue dot, which is like icing on the cake. It's the cybersecurity days, the Swiss cybersecurity days, sorry, which will be held in Fribourg, and our winners will have the chance to pitch on the main stage. So in between, you can see a lot of different other events. The first row is about workshops that I was mentioning before. So you can see that we're going to have different workshops together with our partners that I was mentioning before. I just take an example here, that is ELCA. So we will organize with ELCA a technical workshop on product development, so that our startups can interact with ELCA experts. Of course, again, that will be available online. So if they cannot be on site, that's no problem. And on the second row, you can see the roadshow events and the different cantons I was mentioning before. Again, to give you some example, we are going to organize pretty soon, in November, an event together with the Crypto Valley Capital Venture. So this is like, we would like to have this really as a cross-valley event, so to really join the forces and encourage our startups to interact also with the ecosystem in Zug. Last but not least, example, Yverdon. We are going to organize a joint event together with the HEIGVD and Y Park in Yverdon, also at the beginning of next year. For all the startups, of course, you will have all the details on the dates and so on, but I don't want to bother everyone about that. What I still would like to mention is that in order to really guarantee our startups to have the best interaction with the ecosystem, we have put into place different partnerships with several events which are well known in the region. So I have mentioned already the Swiss Cybersecurity Days, but there are also the Geneva Blockchain Congress and the Geneva Wealth Tech Forum. So that is it for my presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Legging. So we're getting closer to know who's going to be the next startup in the program. But before that, I'd like to have Raphaël Conz join me. Raphaël is Deputy Director, Office of the Economic Affairs and Innovation, State of Vaud. Welcome again.
Thank you.
You are a partner and a main sponsor of this program at Trust Valley. Can you tell us why such a program in the Lake Geneva area is important?
So thank you for the invitation. We are very proud, Canton of Vaud, to be partner of this program, acceleration program. I also would like to say a great welcome to all our online participants, especially those who are from other countries. It's important for us to take the opportunity to give also visibility. This is probably one of the main reasons also to give more visibility for our ecosystem of innovation and startups. This is probably the first reason. Then I think we are here to celebrate entrepreneurs. We have seen this morning all this expertise in our region in terms of academic and research fields, in terms of corporates. We are here probably with the next generation of entrepreneurs, the ones that are creating and building this ecosystem of digital trust and cybersecurity. And this is also why we strongly believe in this type of programs to gather, to really catalyze all the different stakeholders of an ecosystem, because behind this program, it's not only about startups. The idea is to really accelerate the development of new startups, but it's also about all the mentoring and all the collaboration, all these open innovation possibilities and opportunities that these kind of programs provide to an ecosystem. Collaboration between corporates, between startups, between labs and corporates. So all partners behind these programs will provide dedicated expertise to the startups, and it also creates this, I would say, strong spirit of collaboration in between all the stakeholders. So the connections is probably the second reason. And as economic development agency, as governmental body, I think there are, of course, the finality, the main goal of this type of programs is to develop new solutions to really go to the market. We see more and more that innovation not only comes for the big names, the big corporates, the GAFA, it really comes from the startups, from the companies that have this agility, this capacity to develop creativity and to develop new solutions. And ultimately, for us, the idea is also behind this type of program that accelerate innovation to create new jobs and new opportunities, especially in this period of and these tough times. We are really facing a big issue with this COVID pandemic, and I think we need also to always think about the diversification of our economy and startup, especially in this field of digital trust cybersecurity in this unique ecosystem here in the Lake Geneva region is also an opportunity to create new jobs in the future.
So we can see it's like one of your programs that can foster innovation, enable the ecosystem, collaboration that would help you grow as a region. Is there any other tools program, anything else that you would like to mention that is fostering innovation and enabling this ecosystem to grow?
Yeah, that's true. That's, before answering the question, I think it's always good to remind that an ecosystem is composed by really different pillars. And we have seen this morning the scientific and academic pillar, providing talents, access to the most advanced technologies, There are, of course, what we have seen this morning is these corporates, these big names, the company that can help to develop also and support startups to develop also new markets because they have access to the distribution channel and to the markets. We have investors. We haven't spoken a lot of investors. We still lack some VCs in this region, but we have a strong and very reliable community of business angels. I think we can be quite thankful. They really help entrepreneurs. Lots of entrepreneurs that reinvest also their money into startups. So this is also a big opportunity. We have a very brand new generation of entrepreneurs. I mean, this is something, the entrepreneurship is something very booming in this region, and the government and the measures that we can offer are really to help to accelerate a little bit. So we have different type of supports. One example is that we provide incentives, it's grants to support like IP, to support the development of a new product, to support access to markets. If a company wants to hire a business dev, then we help. We also help companies to hire new technical and scientific staff by taking in charge 50% of the salary during 6 months. So we try to support through the different incentives and accelerate, and every year we support roughly 600 projects for a budget of 5 to 6 million. We also have a foundation dedicated to support startups through direct loans with no interest nearly. It goes from 100,000 Swiss francs up to 500,000. It's also a loan in matching with private investors, which is interesting. Every time that investors put 1 Swiss francs, there is this foundation that can also provide 1 Swiss francs in matching. And we have also just right now, during this crisis, we have also been supporting the startups by providing also other type of loans with a partnership of the banks. We guarantee the credit loan from the banks for providing cash to the startups in order that they can bridge during this period where the access to investors is a little bit more difficult because of the shutdown of the economy in general. So we are really providing incentives in different fields. One of the main sectors is digital trust and cybersecurity. And we just created, a few months ago, our parliament validated a budget of 50 million to have a new fund, also especially focusing on open innovation programs, other type of innovation hubs. There are a lot of things that we will do. We have spoken this morning with different companies, but there is also the big project of SIGPA, the Square One campus. And I also have to mention that we are not delivering all the services directly from the States. We are collaborating with a network of partners. One of our main partners is Innovo. It's our innovation and investment promotion agency. So we have dedicated partners to really deliver services, coaching, hosting, financing, access to investors, and we provide also small oil, I would say, in the ecosystem to make sure that our startup can also develop more quickly and more easily. And I just would like to finish also by thanking our partners, the Canton of Geneva, because it's not always easy in Switzerland. It's probably one of the most beautiful democracy in the world, very efficient. We were the first country to deliver the direct incentives to companies during this crisis. This was also proven by an international survey that money directly goes and the cash went to the company. So when we talk about governmental efficiency, I think we are quite good in Switzerland, but still we are small, and the cantons behind this democracy needs to collaborate. And I think it's a good opportunity, thanks to this kind of project, to create this critical mass that we need and deserve in this field.
And since you're talking about Geneva, I'd like to invite Nicolas Niggli, Deputy Secretary General, Republic and State of Geneva. Please join us. I'm going to ask you the same question. How important is this program and how does it fit into your overall support system that you're putting in place to drive innovation and the ecosystem?
Thank you so much. And I would like to start by saying I'm delighted the fact-checking process within the Trust Valley has worked. I'm back from the UN to the state of Geneva. So great, trust has been re-established here. No fake news anymore. Thank you so much. Thank you first to you for having me, and obviously to Raphaël for his introductory words. It's a great pleasure and a great honor to be associated to this acceleration program. The legendary racing driver Mario Andretti, he used to say, if you're in control, it means that you're just not driving fast enough. Well, in the startup world, if you're not driving fast enough, if you're not accelerating, you're probably just already overtaken by the competition. Fierce competition happens in all of the sectors. Business models are changing constantly, and you really need to get in. And that's where programs such as the one we are talking about are so essential, Tech4Trust, because we provide companies with an opportunity to really get that acceleration, to really get those advisors, these connections, all of these elements which are going to help them getting to that next stage, adding that next gear, which permits them to then grow faster. So that's really what's behind our support for this. But then I think this morning, listening very carefully to what has been said by the very inspiring entrepreneurs which were on the stage, I think the other really key element for us is this notion of getting to know what we are doing. Having lived abroad for many years, having worked abroad, has really taught me we are too discreet. We are, in my opinion, a bit too Calvinistic about what we are doing. We need to be proud of it, bold, and really go out with this ambition to communicate much more forcefully. Not to, again, come back to this point, not to just sort of create something that doesn't exist. I'm very confident about the substance we are creating here. It's just about communicating it more forcefully, more proudly. And in this context, this obviously is very helpful. And maybe the third and last point I would like to make before we finally get to the announcement is fundamentally this idea of the collective intelligence. And I'm going to come back to this when we have the next panel. I think it's so important. All of the startups linked together within such a program will also be able to exchange. They will be able to learn from each other. And that ecosystem kind of way to move forward is obviously lifting many boats rather than a few, and that is an enormous plus. And it gives me obviously great pleasure, but also really great pride to be able to do this with our neighbors. This Lake Geneva region really has all of those assets. If we can work together, we are going to be so much stronger. That's it.
Great, thank you. So I think now the startups are waiting. The one that you're going to see here on the slides are the one that have been selected. They took the risk. They drove really fast to be here. They are waiting for all the support that you're going to bring to them. So I will let you introduce them, and I'll come back with the rules of the afternoon.
So you have on these slides all the startups that have been selected. We are not going to go in many details, but just for you to have in mind, roughly 48% are involved in cybersecurity. The other rest are involved in digital trust. One thing is important, we still miss some CEOs, some entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs. In terms of gender, we can do better. 90% roughly male, 10% female. So there are room for improvement. In terms of geographical origin, we have also startups coming from abroad, Germany, France, We have also other countries, other cantons, Lucerne, Zurich, Schaffhausen, and of course Geneva and Vaud. So I'm not sure if we're going into details. You will see there are all different solutions. The variety and the diversity of I would say, the innovation potential that represent our region, authentication, traceability. You will see also the application. There are startups involved in the food industry, in the fintechs. I mean, it's also the beauty of this field of innovation, of digital trust and cybersecurity, to really provide transversal competencies and expertise. So I think the best is for you to discover, and we really would like to congratulate all these entrepreneurs that have been successful in these selections.
Yeah. Pierre de Coubertin once said that it's really important to participate, not to win. And I think there is a bit of history here. My message really is, it's been tremendously hard to select those 29 out of 40 plus. And my message really is for all of those who have been selected, warm congrats. But for all the others, it doesn't mean you're lagging far behind. My message really is a message of encouragement. Keep on pushing, keep on trying, and we are very confident you're going to make it as well. So this is not just to sort of say we had to essentially make a cut at a certain stage. The program just can't afford to take everybody in. It's just a question of capacity. But my message really is fantastic for all those who have participated, and everybody just keep on pushing hard. Yeah,
and also a special thank to the jury that will be presented later on, and to all the partners that are supporting this really unique program for accelerating startups. And once again, congratulations to the selected companies, and for sure, next year we will already come with a broader program, and we hope to also be able to select even more startups than the one this year. We will grow as our startups with this program for the next years.
Thank you very much. So let me just explain how this is going to work. We're going to call 5 startups. You're going to come and sit here, and there's going to be 2 of the committee board members coming and asking you questions. For each of the questions, you're going to have 30 seconds, and then the timer is here, so nothing dramatical is going to happen, but still you have to respect the 30 seconds timer for each of the questions. So 2 questions each, then you can sit, and another startup is going to be able to be asked these 2 questions as well. For those online and here in the room, you will have the ability to vote for your coup de cœur. So there's nothing about credentials or product or portfolio, just a coup de cœur. And we will have the result there, so that will be a coup de cœur per round. We're going to have 5 rounds, and in the middle of the round, we're going to have smaller interviews or discussions around innovation, around supporting the ecosystem. So we're very glad to have you today for this afternoon of the round of the startups. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to call on stage Guy Escarfail and Stéphane Duguin. Please join me as you're going to be asking the questions to the 5 startups. And for the startups, I would like to call Sarus, SIMT, X80 Security, Davos Network Online. It's going to be online, Davos Network, and Bug Bounty Switzerland. You're going to be talking one after the other, so we're fine. Go ahead, you can.
So, thank you, and thank you for the solidarity in standing when everyone is standing. I appreciate already. The first question is, Bug Bounty. Tell us about your team. So we see that you're enforced, not about the team. So who are you? Who are the people? Who's the team?
Hi guys, we are Bug Bounty Switzerland. My name is Sandro Nafzger. I'm the CEO of the company. Next to me, Florian Badetscher, he's our CTO. Lukas Hepler, our CSO. Matthias Jauslin, our COO, is not here because we have a company to run. We are the leading experts for all known bug bounty programs in Switzerland.
30 seconds is good, please.
Very good. So first of all, congratulations again to all of you. Can you share a little bit more about your value proposition, unique selling proposition? What differentiates yourself?
Sure. We bring ethical hackers together with companies to bring their cybersecurity to the next level. With this collaboration between hackers and companies, this has a huge impact on corporate culture, and therefore we cover both pillars of digital trust, people and technology.
We simplify the complexity of crowdsourced cybersecurity into understandable and easy-to-use products which we're already successfully selling on the market.
Very good.
Great. I guess same round of questions for the others. So please introduce your team. Who are you? The values? What's behind?
Hello, I'm Maxime Agostini, CEO of Saris. So we are 3 co-founders. I'm the only one here, unfortunately. The 3 of us have actually started companies before and successfully built companies in machine learning. So Nicholas and Vincent are not here today. We're based in Paris, too.
Thank you.
Very good. And what do you offer?
So at Saris, we make it possible to do everything you do with data without seeing it. So that's pretty useful if you're working with sensitive data, like in healthcare or in financial data. You can build AI applications, but also like simple things like just doing analytics becomes easy because the compliance process is way easier when you don't see the data. And of course, we want to provide that in a trustworthy way, and we implement the highest standards of protection, which is differential privacy.
Very good.
Thank you very much. So please, the name of the company and your team. Who are you? Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Vlad Trifa. I'm CEO and founder of Zimt. So our team, 75% of PhDs, 25% only yet of females. We are 4, so it's okay. But we're growing and we have a very strong network of partners we bring in as needed. So what we do is we're a digital notary for the food industry, and we help them share data securely.
Thank you.
Great. And what is your value proposition?
So we provide the simplest solution on the market and also the safest for any organization to record, integrate with any blockchain out there. And we help them essentially spare hundreds of thousands of dollars and months of work than if they were to do all of that in-house. So we make it for them.
Great.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, please, name of the company, introduce your team. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm Simon, the CEO of X80 Security. The team is comprised of me. I'm ex-computer network operations, the Swiss Army, ETH, and founded 2 companies. Eduardo, my co-founder, who's now in France, he's a machine learning specialist, and he built a fraud detection system, and we also have a PhD in UK, and as well as an advisor from the Swiss Stock Exchange, who has a PhD in cybersecurity from ETH.
Great. Fantastic team again, as all the others. Can you explain a little bit what is your USP?
Right, so the key thing about X80 Security is that we detect cybersecurities faster, cheaper, and much more accurately. We do this by combining a simulation environment where we generate proactively cyber threats to then automatically generate the defenses against those threats. This is a way to get ahead of the attacker, not always looking at what's been done, being reactive. We are proactive.
Fantastic.
Great.
I think we're missing Davos Network. Are they online? If not, we'll just move, but...
No, it's there.
Davos
is there.
Hello. Oh, there. There you go. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So I guess you saw the others. So if you could go through the same exercise, presenting yourself and the team.
Yeah, sure. So we are Davos Networks. Our solution is called Swiss Bounty. It's a crowdsourced security platform that combines ethical hackers with smart scanning technology and enabling security testing into the software development lifecycle on a continuous basis to achieve compliance and for and for more real visibility into the testing activity. Our team consists of myself as the founder of the company, as well as our co-founder, Tina Ferrati, located in Palo Alto, California. And we both come from information security domain, having worked from well-established startups to large corporations.
Thank you. And great drawing skills, by the way. Very nice drawing behind you. Please.
Yeah, thank you.
Last question, yeah? Did you ask?
No, I mean, you already started to answer the questions about your USP, unique value proposition. You described that already. Yeah? Yeah.
Well, thank you. So I don't know if we have the result of the coup de cœur already. If we do, then we can put it on. If not, there may be a little delay because we need to have people online have time to vote. But thank you very much. We hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon. We're going to have a chance to go see you. For some of you have a little pop-up stand there. You can talk to the committee here. As you heard before, they're here to support you. And you're at the beginning of your journey, and we hope to see you soon as a kind of a success story for our market and our ecosystem here. So congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations again.
Congrats. Thank you.
For the next discussion, I'd like to have Jean-Marc Rickli join me. So Jean-Marc is at the head of the Global Risk and Resilience. He's an expert in international security, emerging technology, and artificial intelligence. And he's going to be moderating our session. Nicolas and Raphaël, you're going to join us back. Welcome back. And then we're going to also have Vincent Lenders and Patrice Perche. You can join me. Thank you very much. Make sure we have enough. Maybe before we start the discussion, you may want to present briefly the member of the Tech4Trust Advisory Board. Either one of you?
Okay, so I'm Patrice Perche. I'm currently leading Fortinet business development. Fortinet is a global cybersecurity company with headquarters in California, listed in NASDAQ. And I started my career almost 30 years ago with a co-founder. We made a startup, so I'm about now 30 years in cybersecurity. And I went for almost all the different stages from starting at 2 to be able to list this company in the French nouveau marché in 2000. So that's a bit my experience.
Maybe you want to do, we know you're ready.
Okay, very quick because I already had the opportunity to present myself. So my name is Raphaël Conz. I represent the Office for Economic Affairs and Innovation. So we are, of course, providing different support incentives, but mainly we are also here in this jury, in this program, to open doors also with all the governmental and administrative bodies in the canton of Vaud. I've been working for more than 15 years in this field of economic development. I used to also work for SMEs in Switzerland before that, and I'm representing also the canton of Vaud in different organizations that are delivering services and support to entrepreneurs and to innovation and entrepreneurship programs.
Thank you very much. Nicolas?
Yeah, I didn't want to create sort of social distanciation to my colleagues, but I just thought we might be four. That's why I see.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You can,
but I'm going to move. Okay. Because I didn't know somebody would be.
Yeah, that's right. I'm keeping an eye on you and the people on the screen.
Yeah. So I'm, as you know now, working at Geneva State, in charge of positioning Geneva at the forefront of a certain number of trends around sustainability and tech transformation. So I've been involved in creating the Geneva Digital Talks in 2017, then Building Bridges Week, which creates this bridge between global governance and sustainable development, and obviously I'm very involved in the Trust Valley. But my background really is economic diplomacy, 15 years working for the Swiss Confederation, both at the multilateral level as a senior negotiator at the World Trade Organization, and then in London at the embassy in charge of economy, finance, science, and innovation. That's my background.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Mr. Lenders, would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, I apologize for not being physically here with you today, but my name is Vincent Lenders, and I'm representing the Swiss Confederation. I work for Armasuisse Science and Technology as the director of the Cyber Defense Campus. So this is, my background is on IT, so I've been doing a PhD at ETH in electrical engineering, and the last few years I've been working mainly in research. I've been leading the research program for the Swiss Armed Forces on cyberspace and information, and since 2 years I'm directing the Cyber Defense Campus, which has the goal to build an ecosystem and to be able to work more closely with academia and the industry in the area of cyber defense.
Fantastic, thank you very much. And my name is Jean-Marc Rickley. I'm head of Global Risk and Resilience, Geneva Center for Security Policy, and field of expertise is I'm looking at the security and military implications of emerging tech. And so, as you'll see here, we're a wealth of experience that ranges from the private sector to the government, but also international governance. And so, why is this panel important, and the initiative that is being inaugurated today? It's because we talk about digital trust. And if you look at current development in geopolitics, what you see is a kind of decoupling, an increasing decoupling between two great powers, China and the United States. And that will influence the way we develop norms in the field of digital technologies, but also beyond this. So, hence the very important issue of digital trust. How do you define trust in technology? You can define it as a way of a delegation of a form of authority without control. And so if you think about this development towards a growing polarization in this field, establishing digital trust is very important. Hence the question of what kind of ecosystem do you need for this? And why Switzerland is very well positioned for that kind of development. We have here people that are working in the military, that are others that are working in the civilian sector. If you look back to the history of technology, you might remember in 1961 when President Eisenhower did his farewell speech, he talked about the role of the military-industrial complex. And in 1969, you have ARPANET that was developed, which is the ancestor of the internet. 20 years later, it was the World Wide Web that was invented by scientists at an international organization in CERN in Geneva. And in the 90s, 2000s, what we've seen is that innovation comes really from startup companies, to the point that now the military are actually tapping into civilian development. So when we used to talk about dual-use technology, originally it was technology that was developed for military purposes that would then spill over into the civilian sphere. Today, the relationship has inverted. Basically, it's civilian technology that could be used for military purposes. And so when we talk about trust, the issue of security is very important. So let me start by asking the representative of Armasuisse here about, first what we'll do is we will survey what is the opinion of the panelists about the nature of the Swiss ecosystem. What makes this ecosystem very different, if at all, from other ecosystems? And then we'll look at the role of your organization, and as well as the role of startup, to grow a specific ecosystem. So, Mr. Lenders, could you share your thoughts with us about your characterization of the Swiss innovation ecosystem, and how do you benefit from it?
Yeah, Switzerland has a very strong record in innovation. This is, and as you have mentioned before, especially in the past, innovation was mainly driven in technologies like internet technology, cyber technologies, satellite technologies was mainly driven by military organization. But as you pointed out, and I can clearly confirm this, that innovation, there is a lot of innovation investment now happening also now in the civil domain, and this becomes more and more relevant also for the militaries actors. So in that sense, it's getting more and more important also to work with for the military to work with the civil organizations to see what their problems, in particular in cyber defense, in cyber security and digital trust. It's really getting more and more important to also to follow and to the innovation that is going on in startups, and also start working with this ecosystem. So this is also what we have observed in the past and what we are trying to do currently today. So we are establishing with the Cyber Defense Campus, we are also establishing a way how we want to work or better work with startups, which is also in the past has been quite difficult, because if you look at the typical procurement and development processes, they are quite heavyweight, and they are mostly focusing on minimizing risk and not necessarily on fostering innovation. And if we look at cyberspace, innovation is getting more and more important. So our goal is to bring more innovation into also the development of the capabilities that we can have in cyber defense. And this is why it's getting important to work with this ecosystem. I'm talking about startups, but I think it's not only about startups, it's about also academia. It's also about the established industrial base. It's also about working with governments and other at the international level. So for us, it's getting more and more important to have this type of collaborations.
Thank you very much. Now, if I turn to a representative from the private industry, as a leading company in the field of cyber security, I mean, what are your views about the Swiss innovation ecosystem?
I think the Swiss reputation overall from outside the country is very strong, and the trust image is there for years. So the initiative that we have here and around the Swiss Valley and the Trust Valley, it's I think a unique opportunity really to develop amongst with all these startups on cyber and trust a great ecosystem. We can generate a lot of, in fact, future technology as well as potentially collaboration with many other global companies like we are. I will compare a bit the Swiss opportunity as the Israeli country. When you look from an engineering perspective and innovation, except from the US, in fact, one of the countries who has been the most prolific in terms of delivering startup and new technology, especially on cyber, has been Israel. And I do see that the Swiss has the same opportunity with even a better image due to this historical perception. And the other aspect, of course, is the value of the university and the level of the engineering people we can take from this valley. So I think that's for us as a global provider. We do provide technology and services, but our vision is that, as I highlighted a bit this morning, is that we have to work in collaboration with many other companies. So it's not just alone that we can fix and deal with the overall challenge that we all have on cyber. So we build, in fact, the platform with API, with an ecosystem. We have about 250 other cyber security companies that bring some additional value. So that's an opportunity for, of course, startup. And we also, as a company, we can help them driving, in fact, on the evolution of this on the market, as we went from a $50 million company in 2005 to now $3 billion. So we went to a different stage. It's about 8,000 people otherwise. So going on just not the technology development, but also the business development and how we can accelerate that. And we also have a venture capital organization inside. So we do participate on new startups that have a great project where we can help and finance. Among us, we acquire every year about 3 or 4 companies on cyberspace to complement technology that can add value to us. So I do see that the Swiss has a very unique, in fact, opportunity. I think it's the first really initiative I really see in the world. I know that there's some other country they are about to launch, but being with the great, I will say, collaboration between the public, the private, the education, I think we have everything to succeed. So that's why I see that there's a great opportunity to make a success here in this initiative.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Conz, you already, in the previous panel, you share your views about your contribution, but how do you see your function as a representative canton of Vaud in fostering this kind of initiative? What's your main input?
That's a good question. I think first it's important to remind a little bit the role. I think we are very good in Switzerland, in this region, in terms of technology transfer. I think the collaboration between academics and industry, the generation of new startups coming out from our academic research institution is something very good. And all the labs are really pushed, and there are incentives from the Swiss government, like the InnoSwiss programs and funding, to really have a vision and programs, initiatives that are driven towards collaboration with industries, and this is also something we are very good at. I think then for the startups, once they start, they have usually a very strong background. We are reputed to be a deep tech nation, not only sometimes startup nation. Israel, they say they are the startup nation. We like to say that we are the deep tech nation, so we have very strong expertise and very deep technologies. But then you need cash, you need investors, you need money, and you need also the first, I would say, pilot projects sometimes. And it's what we should also, I would say, foster is this collaboration, this new deal of public-private partnership. It's not that easy because, as it was mentioned, other countries like USA, like Israel, they have been doing this for long. I think there are room also for fostering really the collaboration between the public, I would say, authorities for any kind of projects. There are many needs that are also really in the hands of the public bodies. So we really also need to help startups, companies, to have the first pilot project in this region so that they have a reference to go and to scale up internationally. So what we concretely do today is to provide incentives to make sure that they can accelerate their projects, their development. But at the end of the day, what we would like to also really to extend in terms of what the state can do, and these programs should also help in creating a new deal between corporates and startups, but also between the public bodies and the startups. And this is something also new for us, I think, to develop this public-private partnerships. I was also talking during the lunch with a very experienced CEO of a small and middle-sized company. There is in US the Small Business Act. Probably we need also some kind of initiative in Switzerland, in our region, to have to force also the public, I would say, bodies also to collaborate more with startups. And this is probably more important for startups to have a first reference, a first client, a first pilot project here, rather than just having some cash and some coaching and some, I would say, programs that we are delivering that are important. But it's, I think, if we want to go a little bit further, we should also create this new deal of public and private partnerships.
Thank you very much, and I agree with you. I mean, the PPP, public-private partnership, are very important, and we see that not only in the field of economic innovation, but also in governance, national governance. And so, Mr. Niggli, I mean, you are representing representative of a canton, but also a canton which is a bit peculiar in Switzerland due to its international reach, international Geneva. So how would you characterize the Swiss system? How does the Swiss system stand out globally?
Thank you so much, Jean-Marc, for this question. In my opinion, there are two features of Switzerland which really explain how we do position. And they start with geography and geology. Geography, why so? We are a relatively small place. And geology, we have no natural resources, no oil in the ground, no gas in the ground, which means we have essentially to invest into education using perhaps the resource which is the most powerful in this 21st century, the gray gold, our brains. That explains why we are very heavy on innovation. We are leading the classifications worldwide, depending what the metrics are, but we are almost always very, very near the top if we are not at the top. And our companies, they need to get out of here. They need to conquer the world. Because the market, and that's the geographic part, the market is just too small to really get going. And so these two features are really impacting how we position ourselves. And it is also explained that we are so heavily involved in international trade, how we try to conquer by essentially just opening markets. But to come back to some of the other features I really see, entrepreneurship is really big here. We have a lot of relatively large companies starting to work with small ones. This is very helpful indeed. And then there is this position that, we can make global challenges, both local and global opportunities. How to transform all of the challenges we are facing, think climate change, think the lack of sanitation. How can we essentially make these big problems an opportunity, not just for ourselves, but for the world? And I think that's the other really big change. We have spoken a lot today about how technology drives changes. I think the other really big change happening at the moment is the notion of purpose coming back into the mix. This idea that we have to step up on ESG. And so, in the spirit of what my colleagues here have brought up, and you mentioned this as well, Jean-Marc, this idea of PPPs, I would suggest here we really need to become specialists of P²7, public-private partnerships for people, planet, profit, and purpose. That's a bit how I would like us to position in the future. Perhaps one more point. We have been, and it has been mentioned as well, we have been very heavy on tech. Fabulous academic excellence, great technology transfer. We have capital. Capital, I think, has to be deployed better. But I think there is one sort of innovation which we still haven't pushed far enough, and this is process innovation. We are still too much in the silos. We need to open those gates. We need to start working so much more deeply, interconnecting, multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholder. If we do that, if we innovate more on that front, I think the sky is properly the limit.
Thank you very much. I think if you look at the different partners of this initiative, I think that's an example of a multi-stakeholder approach and definitely the way to go. Before I move to the second round of questions, I would just mention that there are 30 advisors in the board, and during the second round of questions, you'll see the names of the different advisors that will pop up on the screen behind me. For the second question to Mr. Lenders is about trust and in a way that you are representing, if you want, a defense organization, and we have lots of people from the startup ecosystem here, and there might be a resistance on behalf of these people to cooperate with the defense industry. So you have established your cyber defense campus here in the premises of the EPFL. So what, if some are reluctant, what are the arguments that you would put forward to actually convince them that actually a partnership or cooperation with you is actually beneficial for them?
Right. So I think, okay, I see this point. I see your point that there is sometimes this issue of people not knowing exactly what we are doing. This is also maybe also why there is this reluctance to work with us. And so this is also something that we need to take care of, and also show also more clearly what are we communicate also, what are our objectives, what are we working on, in particular in digital trust and cyber security, what are the problems, and then I think many times we see when we work with startups that this fear also disappear, and startups that were concerned at the beginning then start seeing the benefits working with us. So when we work with companies, I think in particular with startups, there are clear benefits for them, because I think we have a very strong security background, of course coming with a military perspective. So we have in terms of cyber security, we have a lot of experience also in this area. And I think it's really important also to provide for us and for the startups that we can provide some guidance into the directions that would be needed, the problems that we see, and such that they can also provide and improve, get feedback from us. So we are currently, we mentioned the public-private partnership model, which is also something we have been put into place. So since this year, we have a PPP partnership model that we have set up, and we have several startups also from the Trust Valley that are interested to participate. And the benefit for them is that they can work with us. We have set up at the Innovation Park a very open collaboration model, where we allow them also to come to work to our labs, and then they can profit from the collaboration with us, but also with other stakeholders, also with academic partners that are also working in the same projects. What we also want to do, we want to also allow startups to bring the technology faster into operations. This is why we have also, for example, launched a startup challenge this year to bring new innovative technologies faster as a proof of concept first, to really show the benefit and not to have to wait for longer procurement processes before we decide what to do, but to be able to evaluate a new technology, a new product from a startup much faster. So, and I think this is also some benefit for them, because they can work with us. If we evaluate the technology, this is also some reference for them that they can then, when they go for international, at the international level, they can also show that they've been able to collaborate and make a proof to provide some technology to the Swiss Armed Forces. So also for the reputation, I think it's also a benefit for them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perche, I mean, you alluded before to the issue of scalability, and this morning the CEO of Proton Mail also mentioned this, that if you look at the Swiss startup ecosystem, do you have any startups that have reached 100 million, a billion users? That's not the case. So for the people in the startup business here in this room, that's maybe a bit discouraging, you know, to hear that. You, in your experience, and again, with a leading cybersecurity company, what would you tell to these people and say, well, we're not in Silicon Valley, we are in the Trust Valley, but is it still possible to scale up and reach a global status?
I think yes, it's definitely opportunity for all the startups to be able to scale up. The today world provides a lot of advantage because communication can be fast. You can reach, in fact, global customer. It was not the case maybe 10, 15 years ago. And be part of such of ecosystem supported by finance, supported by initiative from government and education. You can really, in fact, leverage this approach. And I think what is very important for all the startup is, of course, is the value proposition. So the technology, whatever is services or product, need to be strong. And from there, of course, start building the first reference. So you need to connect with the first customer, be able to use this customer, leverage those customers to talk to the other one, and then potentially also look bigger in terms of how you can partner with company that can distribute your product, they can maybe help you, in fact, penetrate other market with local presence. So overall, I'll say that it's a bit more challenging than be based in Silicon Valley, where you have all the instruments, you have also the VCs, they're all screening the company. But I think here in Swiss, and especially in the Valley, there is very similar, and I think there is, of course, a very strong motivation to build the same. So I think just more execution, keep the agility that make the startup a big differentiator against the large company, because that's how you can differentiate yourself against many other players. But there is, as I highlighted, the need in cyber is massive. The need for new technology is massive. So there will be a lot of technology that will be looking even from large company like we are or others, but you can also have the chance of developing yourself as well.
Thank you. Mr. Conz, you mentioned in your previous talk one challenge, the one that is about funding and VCs. You mentioned that there is a very good ecosystem of business angels, less so in terms of VCs, and we know that capital is very important to grow up a startup ecosystem. What do you think could Switzerland do better to attract more VC companies?
I think we could do better, but I don't want to have then problems with our Minister of Finance. But we should probably also have a more aggressive tax policy in order to deduct also some investment in startups. There are lots of things that Switzerland has been also quite, I would say, attractive in terms of tax policies, and it's still attractive for corporates. But for investors, I think it's one way probably to have something not at the cantonal level, at the federal level. I think this is something we should do in order to attract more investors, managing partners of venture capital funds, but also for this, I would say, business angel, for this early stage also investors. It's also important for them to have a good sign from the government. The deduction in terms of tax is something that is good. And then I think we still need to, I would say, boost the visibility of Switzerland as a nation dedicated to startups and to innovation. I think we still have room for making more VCs from the Silicon Valley come, not just get established, but just come. And I think that is also part of the mission of our innovation promotion agency, Innovo, that will also address this issue to really make sure there are more investors involved and knowing and involved in our ecosystem. Because I think what I've always been surprised, if you go to Silicon Valley, some companies, they just say that here we have, I would say, the expertise, but also the technologies coming out from our labs are sometimes better. But the question is how we can scale rapidly to make sure that we are the first ones. And sometimes there are opportunities that we could miss because we are not addressing the global market at the right moments with a very good technologies. And most companies, as it was mentioned before, needs also to go out very quickly, but we need to have a good balance because usually the core technologies teams stay here. We need also to have this kind of delocalization, US China and Europe with Switzerland at the heart, in order to make sure that we are addressing for our startups also the connections at international level with the VCs, because some VCs, they still don't know what's going on. We are still sometimes too small in terms of critical mass. So we both have to create more visibility, but also to make sure that we can bring our startups to open doors at the international level to have this connection with VCs.
Thank you. Nicola, I saw you nodding when Mr. Conz was talking. It was alluding to, you develop a special culture, maybe to attract, raise awareness among people in Silicon Valley and elsewhere about what we do in Switzerland. In diplomacy, we have the spirit of Geneva, the spirit of Genève. What could be the spirit of the Limerick region, for the innovation ecosystem, and probably linking it to what you argued for before, this multi-stakeholder approach, What should be the condition? What should be the possible shape that such a spirit could take?
Mm-hmm. Henri Dunant in the 19th century created the Red Cross. The Red Cross, when you think about it, is a response, an innovative response, a humanitarian response, but it's a deeply innovative response to technological change. The capacity to kill with advanced technology and the mass suffering it generated through this Geneva network, the creation of the Red Cross. I think what we now need to ask ourselves, and I try to do this exercise from time to time in the morning when I wake up, is really asking ourselves the question, well, if Henri Dunant would be born in the 21st century, what would he go about? And I think this question of trust fundamentally is a really important one. As I said, to me, there are really two major fundamental issues we need to tackle. The first one is technological change and technological governance. And I think there we have all of the ingredients. More than 50% of digital governance is already dealt with in Geneva. What is missing is a certain number of stakeholders are still not present in town permanently. We heard from Brad Smith this morning. We need other stakeholders to be more present in the region around Lake Geneva to really grow this dialogue. The Confederation representatives already hinted to in the morning. The second really big issue is climate change and how we go about that. Here again, we have fabulous actors in the region, data sets the rest of the world can only dream about, and they are all in silos. Different organizations are dealing with this. And this brings me back to this point we are discussing since this morning early. Innovation and data are the fuel of the digital economy, and trust is the motor of it, the engine of it. This Lake Geneva region can essentially be the engine to create that trust. We have to be able to develop digital commons to help all of those stakeholders and to work together better. If we can do that, if we can create those digital commons which will enable data to be analyzed, data to be visualized in a secure, safe way, if we allow these people to unleash that capacity to work together, I think we really can do something fantastic, not just for ourselves. That's not the esprit du Léman, l'esprit de Genève. We have to think about the capacity to then to deploy it globally. That's I think what we should try to do, and it's going to be good for ourselves, but more importantly, it's going to be good for the world, and that's really fundamental. Nobody can win it on its own. And perhaps just to finish, there is a timing dimension here. And this brings me back to one of my previous existences. When I was negotiating at the WTO with China on watches, somebody mentioned watches. I think it was Monsieur Moret this morning. He mentioned watches. At a certain stage in one of those negotiations with my Chinese counterpart, we had a difficult argument. And he said, well, you have the watches, but we have time. We don't have time. We have to really act quickly. There is a competition to position on all of these issues I just mentioned, and there is a competition for all of us. We are all in the same boat, on the same planet, to really act decisively on all of these fronts.
Innovate and fail fast, as an entrepreneur would say. So thank you very much for this really interesting tour d'horizon of a different issue relating to this digital trust initiative and also the position of the region here in that space. I think we could talk for hours about different issues and different problems that were mentioned, but I think that we have to carry on. And I give you the floor back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're going to have our round 2 of our startup pitch. And for that, I'm going to call Matthieu Verbaere. I don't know if I pronounced your name right, I'm sorry. Head of Innovation Lab at ELCA. And Lajla Aganovic, investor at Swisscom, please. Thank you. While we wait for them to come, we had a little technical glitch in the survey, so we're going to put back the first round of startup, and we're going to ask you, please, to vote again for your coup de cœur on the first round, and then we'll go, after this round, we'll go to the second round for the coup de cœur. So that's the first round. And while you can vote, I'm going to call the round 2 startup, so it's Strong Network, please. Rumia, Origin Food, P3KI, it's going to be online. Orbitalize, that's very funny, you know, how you pronounce new startup. It's kind of a test into your market. If people can pronounce it right, so you're testing everything on me. And KETL, please. Welcome. So same rule than before. Lajla and Matthieu, may I ask you to look at the slide and ask the startup that is on the slide so that people can see online and here in the room which startup it is. So you're going to have the name of one startup up in the slide, and this is the startup you're going to ask the questions first. Is that okay? So first startup will be Strong Network, and then you're going to get the second startup. Thank you very much.
Good.
30 seconds per question, please.
At least this one I know. No, first, one thing I wanted to say is that we've all been talking about the importance of having VCs, and just wanted to let you know, guys, also that Swisscom Ventures is definitely there to support you, and we are hopefully going to be here for a while. We're definitely going to be here for a while to support you. So thanks a lot. Strong network. Please, if you could maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your team, and...
So we started that project a few months ago, but we already seek people. We raised a pre-seed. What we do, actually, so we 6 people, actually 3 seniors and 3 juniors, and I think we're a good mix of skills. So it's a great set. I'm very lucky for that. So what we do, we see our product secures distributed and collaborative code development and data science against data, IP, and code leaks. And actually, it also allows to identify a new intellectual property that will be created during the project. So basically, our goal is to tame the chaos that you have when you do a collaborative project, like, for instance, joint development, outsourcing, things such that everything's become traceable, and you can have the chain of custody, everything that happened throughout the project.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've said also what you do. Thanks a lot. So congrats to all, and welcome on the program. So maybe we switch to the next startup. Okay, Rumia. So please introduce yourself and the team.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Aurélien. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Rumia, a startup born 2 years ago. We are coming from IT engineering, communication and marketing, and for myself, business analysis. We spent the 10 last years working with SME on helping them taking advantages of digitalization, and we saw during this time how much data are becoming important in the middle of the business model, and how trust is really relevant and required. So at Rumia, we help companies to comply with privacy regulations, to help them to create this trust and to restore this trust.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe for the next one, rigging origin food. And who said that Swiss companies didn't know how to bid, right? Congrats.
Thank you very much. So our clients know they can count on the strong experience of origin food. We are very lucky to have many years of history of business management, but as well, we have coming from various backgrounds. For instance, in our team, we have Peter, who is a skillful entrepreneur. We have Simon, who is an experienced IT expert. We have Christian, many years in sales and marketing, and myself, many years managing supply chain around the world. It means we know the challenges our customers face because we have lived it. But now, we know how to solve it.
So what do you do exactly?
Thank you, Matthieu, for the question. So, again, back to our client, because they're important to us. So, by using Origin Food Solution, our client can tackle 2 of their main challenges: product traceability, product compliance. But I think your question is what is unique. What is unique of what we do is Origin Food Solution is designed from the scratch to use technology like blockchain to create trust, hence foster collaboration. Because in the supply chain, it's only when all the actors truly collaborate that performance will improve.
Okay, thanks a lot. So to the next one, online. Hello, Pwc. So please introduce yourself. Start by introducing yourself and the team, please. Thanks.
Thank you. My name is Krieger. I'm the CEO at Pwc. Our team is comprised of our founder, Felix, probably better known as FX, who's a world-renowned white hat hacker and cybersecurity specialist. With our core developer, Dan, we have first and foremost a language security professional as well as a Google veteran. With Bruno, we have a cryptography expert, and we're augmenting our very lean team around with a few more of our partner companies. What Pwc actually is doing is we bring human trust to digital devices. We ensure safe, secure, to-the-point authorization between peers, flexibly facilitated via intermediaries. The clue? Intermediaries take no active role during authorization. This ensures Pwc to operate entirely offline and fully decentralized, without needing any third-party or active online infrastructure. You can use Pwc for anything. It's applicable to smart city and smart government solutions for the health sector, for defense, but first and foremost also for IoT and anything going into smart grid. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Where are you guys based?
We are based out of Berlin, Germany, but the team is, as our solution, very decentralized.
Thank you.
So we have one sitting in Belgium, myself sitting in Stuttgart, and the core of the team in Berlin.
Thanks. And from what I've seen, next one is Orbitalize, please.
Hello, my name is Owen O'Sullivan, but I'm representing the founder of Orbitalize, Michael Barocco, who couldn't be with you today. As I say, he's the founder of the company, and otherwise it's a network of freelancers involved, and there are also 2 investor advisors, one of which is from one of the big tech companies. It's a Geneva-based software engineering startup.
So what is so unique about what you do?
So, to explain the value proposition, if you cast your mind back to when the Pope visited Geneva 2 years ago, you will not have seen any aerial photography of the Pope because it simply wasn't possible to give permission to allow drones to fly in the sky at that time, because there was no way for a first responder on the ground to be able to tell if a drone was authorized or unauthorized. So Orbitalize provides first responders, agents on the ground, with a means by using their smartphone and some AI, augmented reality technology, to quickly identify, read the license plate, let's say, of that drone and say, is that authorized? Is it unauthorized? Do we need to take action? So it's really switching the dial from prohibition to permission in terms of trust. And so we say that it's making the world safer for the public, for pilots, and even for popes.
Okay. Great, thank you. Next one. Kettle, yeah. If I pronounce correctly.
Kettle, right.
Okay, so tell us about the team first.
Kettle was founded by 3 friends 2 years ago, roughly. Since then, we've been in confinement to develop our project. I'm improvising, sorry. Self-inflicted. We have 3 founders. They have 3 great backgrounds and very complementary. We have Nicolas Casademont, our CTO, not here today, unfortunately, who's a fantastic software engineer from EPFL. Then we have Samuel Half, our CEO, who's a lawyer, but also an incredible software front-end developer. And myself, James McGill, statistician and engineer.
And maybe just as we have time, because people are also going to be voting for you guys, just maybe in 1 sentence.
Yeah, very quickly. We basically,
Sorry, no, what makes you special?
We've basically created a private Google based in Switzerland for your company documents or private emails. We use AI and a good UX to help you manage your data. And security is at the center of our project. We've initiated a research project with InnoSuisse on homomorphic encryption. And yeah, we have so many things to say, but yeah, that's the short version.
Good. Would be interesting.
And one thing is, yeah, modesty is kind of a leitmotif in this event. And yeah, we're not modest, we're ambitious, and we want to grow very quickly.
Okay, thank you very much to all. Welcome to the program, and see you soon then. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So we're going to see the coup de cœur of the round 1, if we have the result. Dada. Here we go. The coup de cœur is Bug Bounty, so you are the coup de cœur of the public today. Congratulations. For the next session, we're going to have an interview, so Nicolas is going to come back. And then Fritz is from a Sygnum bank is going to join him. Welcome.
So good afternoon. I think I will start with 2 confessions. The first is that this is not me. This is an hologram. You have seen me enough this afternoon. The second confession is Fritz and I, we thought about doing this in Swiss German. This is on Aparté. But we were struggling to essentially decide whether we would be doing this in Parndeutsch or Zurich Deutsch. So we didn't agree, and we therefore settled for English.
The common denominator today is English. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Fritz, thank you so much for being here with us. Sygnum, we will hear more about this, but first, you're Zurich-based, but you're tremendously interested in this project, the Trust Valley. What has driven you to Lake Geneva and to this project, to this interest?
Swiss finance and banking is a leader, and it should stay a leader and not become a fast follower. It should not be disrupted, but should become a disruptor. And one company alone cannot change the industry. We need to team up. And Sygnum, yes, we are based in Zurich, at headquarters, but also in Singapore. And we have been tremendously impressed with the ecosystem you have been creating. And we know that we can only win this and create a Swiss banking and finance 2.0 together with this ecosystem. And I think Trust Valley is a super stepping point with an ecosystem where we would like to leverage that network, because you have the academia, which we have heard before, but also a world-leading banking, particularly private banking industry, which is going to be very relevant in changing finance as we know it today.
Fantastic. Sygnum, you are a digital bank. What does this mean in terms of construct? What is your USP? This is a big change. You spoke about Finance 2.0. How does this work?
Yes, thank you. At Sygnum, we are convinced of the disruptive nature of the blockchain, but also in terms of the way we do finance today. And at Sygnum, we have seen that it's not going to happen, it's happening. We have a lot of interest in pension funds. We have a lot of interest in banks who really look at the crypto assets as a diversification. We also have the companies who are looking to digitalize their stocks. And that means they need to do this with a trusted counterparty. There has been a lot of bad news about this industry, and therefore we want to be the trusted partner on that journey. And we heard trust many times this morning, and the same resonates with Sygnum. Trust is in governance and process. We have every single cryptocurrency which comes onto the digital wallet of Sygnum goes through a crypto analytics tool to ensure where the digital currency is coming from, it's clean. Not anti-money laundering, not from the dark web. Number two, trust in the infrastructure. Where the storage takes place is in a army security base. That means it needs to be trusted, because we have investors who are leaving hundreds of millions in Swiss franc equivalent, and they want this with a regulated, trusted bank. Last of trust is in people. We have a tremendous talent pool of employees and management, but also we have advisors such as Philipp Hildebrand, ex-Swiss National Bank chairman, and it is not a question of if the central banks are going to digitalize their currency. It's the when. And we know from the press, ECB is in the process of looking at it, SNB working together with the BIS, and the Chinese, they certainly want to be the first. So Sygnum is really positioning itself to be at the forefront and a trusted partner on that journey.
Fabulous. Last question. You spoke a lot about cryptocurrencies, and obviously central banks will follow suit. We understand that. But the other really big revolution from what I understand is really tokenization. Could you say a few words about that and how Sygnum sees this?
Yes, I think tokenization has now really caught the big momentum, because in the past, whatever had been tokenized really was not value add. It made headline because it was the first building which was tokenized, or was the first piece of art which was tokenized. Missing part was really that not only the property itself gets tokenized, but the way you have the life cycle management done. That means, how do you pay dividends? How do you actually pay money without actually leaving the digital world, going through the fiat world? The other missing piece is the value add of tokenizing something. It needs to have a marketplace. So far, most real estate or companies with a digital share registry, they just tokenized it, but there was no secondary market. So the added value now is that there is going to be a market, there is a price discovery process, and will allow a far more dynamic, fast, 24/7, 365 trading of such assets.
Finance is, as every other sector, is obviously getting disrupted, and there are only two ways to go about this. Either you are at the table or you are on the menu. And very clearly, firms like yours, like Sygnum, others in this field in Switzerland, are certainly looking ahead to the next stage of the financial center here. So we are tremendously happy to have you here with us, to be a supporter of the Trust Valley, and in the name of all of the partners, we thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So we're going to get into round 3. But before round 3, we're going to do the coup de cœur for the round 2. So if you can please put on round 2 names with the coup de cœur. You guys can vote when we bring up the round 3 startup. So for the round 3, I'm going to invite Gérard Leroy from CYB, Patrick Guillon from la police de Genève. Thank you very much. And I'm going to welcome the startup, Nîmes, PXL Vision is going to be online, Clearwater Dynamics online as well, Infer, Label CyberSafe, and Wecan Group. Welcome.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gérard Leroy. I am the Global IS Director of CYB, and I'm very happy to share the stage today for this pitch with Patrick. So I will let you introduce yourself, Patrick.
Thank you. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Guillon. I'm running the Department of Cyber Sciences of Geneva State Police, which has 4 divisions, and one of them is cybercrime. I'm also running the regional cybercrime competence center for Western Switzerland, and which is very exciting because it puts together competences and knowledge and the profit for all. And this is the purpose of this Trust Valley also, I think. So thank you.
So we are very happy to be on stage with the very talented people. So I think we are going to start, if I can have the first slide. For the first startup, who should start to pitch? Or we are going to start with the first one. Who want to start?
I can start.
Okay, let's go. So can you just introduce you to your wonderful magic team?
Yeah, I'm obviously an American. I'm Harry Halpin, the CEO of NIM Technologies. I used to work at a university called MIT, maybe not as famous as EPFL, but we decided to we've been working on privacy and security technologies. The team is myself, Claudia Diaz, who's a famous professor of privacy, whose student, Carmela Troncoso, is a professor here at EPFL. My co-founder, Alexis Rousseau, who founded Bitty in Neuchâtel, where we're based, which is a famous crypto exchange in Neuchâtel. And finally, Dave Herigen, who quit Libra to work on privacy with us.
Interesting. And it's you on the picture?
Yeah, that's me before Corona, though. So you see the beard and the hair, it kind of grew.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. Patrick.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. And so what makes you so unique, what you sell?
So what we are producing is a sort of, how you would say, super VPN. It's called a mixnet. And whenever you use the internet, you leak who you're talking to, when and where, and all sorts of what's called metadata. And as my mentor, Sandy Pentland at MIT proved, 80% of our behavior can be linked not to the content of what we're saying, but who we're saying it to and where. This is very valuable information for companies and governments and enterprises and citizens. So we are producing the world's first and only working mixnet. And we know we're doing the right thing because a scammy startup scammy blockchain startup from Zug is copying us. So we're like, wow, you know, we really are doing the right thing if there's some like second-rate ICO coming out of Zug that's copying the technology of Neuchâtel.
Okay, you are very engaged in what you are saying, so that's at least a very good sign of motivation. And thanks for your very good introduction. So I propose we continue with the second one. Patrick, I will let you do it.
Yep. Thank you. So Infer, it's you. Yeah. Yeah, that would be easier.
Yeah.
So welcome, and could you introduce yourself and your team?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Claudio. I'm very proud to be here and represent Infer. I'm the technical project manager for Infer. We are a team of 29 people across the globe in 2 continents. We have 3 locations, one in Lausanne, another one in New York, and the third one in San Francisco. Among these 29 people, we have 12 PhDs.
Quite impressive as well. And what makes you unique?
Yes, so we allow to compute on private data. We allow how an high-precision, privacy-preserving machine learning, no-walled garden on data that stays and resides where they're born, in situ. So what happened is basically we allow enterprises, high-regulated enterprise and organization to compute on sensitive data, and data are never moved or shared in any way, and still we enable to compute the harder function of machine learning. We are very proud that we have production used in many companies and like robust partners and high reputation investors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Where are we? Yeah, the second one. Yeah. Now, you introduced also already what you did, so what we were so specific about, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, third one, who is it? Hello, welcome, and congratulations for being selected. So, same question, I think you understood. Can you present the team?
Our team rapidly expanded into a community. Our community is made up of representatives of Chamber of Commerce, civil society, academia, and public administration. Overall, we represent more than 8,500 SMEs and 300 communes. And together, we defined and co-produced the label requirement.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. And now, so what is so specific about you and your company?
Thank you for the question. We allow SME to translate the cyber risk in Swiss francs. We provide them with precise, pragmatic, and neutral remediation roadmap that varies according to the level and type of risks. This is achieved by use of next-generation risk profiling and simulation. And through our Swiss-wide network of auditors, responsible organizations are rewarded with the first Swiss cybersecurity label to build trust among their partners and customers.
Okay, thank you very much. We have some mic issues, I think, but...
I will manage.
You're back.
Yeah, I will manage. We'll do. So, number 4, please. Comfy, we can. So let's introduce yourself, Nathan.
Thank you very much. So I'm here to represent Weekend Comply, which is a brand of Weekend Group. Weekend Group is a venture builder. We are a Geneva-based company. We are 15 members. Experts in blockchain technology. We are developing pioneer solutions since 2015. And yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. And as you can guess, here's my secret question. What is so specific about you and your company?
So first, a fact. Today, 15%, between 15 and 30% of companies' revenue is lost due to poor data quality and poor data management. Based on this fact, we realized that company were structuring information properly internally, but when it comes to external exchange, they use email, phone, even fax, and this is really insecure and inefficient. So we created a decentralized network of Swiss financial actors, allowing them to share standard data in a very secure way, in a very efficient way, and allowing real-time compliance. We created this network with Swiss financial actors like Lombardier and Pictet. We are working closely with the EPFL for the security, and this is the beginning of a nice journey, and we hope that you will support us at Tech4Trust.
Thank you very much. I don't know if we have an additional one. We are supposed to get some people online. No?
Maybe just before we get the two companies that are online, we're going to announce the coup de cœur of round 2. So if you can put the name of the coup de cœur on Orbitalize. So congratulations, you are the second coup de cœur of the day. Thank you. Congratulations. And now we can go to the online startup, please. They're connecting.
Karim?
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Do you hear? Yes, hello. So welcome to this event, and could you start please to introduce your team and yourself?
Absolutely. So hi, my name is Karim Nimmer. I'm one of the co-founders of Pixel Vision, which we founded 3 years ago together with 4 other long-term employees of the predecessor company, Dakuda, that was sold then to Magic Leap before we founded Pixel Vision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karim. And where are you based? Where are you now?
I am based in Zurich, Switzerland. I'm based right now in our new, shiny office, which we could have easily waited a few more months before we start renting it in the current times, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so what makes Pixel Vision a unique company? What is your unique selling proposition?
Mm-hmm. So basically, we provide identity verification solutions to help customers reduce their cost of customer onboarding, minimize fraud, and maximize their sales conversion by enabling new sales channels. And we do that much better than anyone else because we have a great Swiss product with the highest degree of security, automation, flexibility, without sacrificing user experience at all.
Thank you very much. And I think now we are going to move to the last one, which is...
We're going to do the last one later on because there was a little change in the timing because we were supposed to be on a break, and we decided, because everyone was there, that we'll do the break afterwards, so they are not online quite yet. So thank you very much, all of you, and we'll do the last startup in the next round.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Congratulations, thank you.
So for the next panel, I'm going to ask Yann Borboyan from PwC, and Marc Babeza from the Canton de Vaud to come and join me. And then the company Priv, Access Informer, and Next Day Vision.
Hello, so thank you.
Welcome to Priv Access Informer. Just one word about the next division. Unfortunately, the CEO is in quarantine, so he couldn't join, so we have more time for you. I'm Yann Bourbon, really happy to be here and to be part of this platform. 3 years ago, we, with a friend, Matthieu Delavie, we created the Pwc Sector Award, helping also a security startup to develop. And I'm really happy, and thank you, Lenig and Alexandra, also to work with us on this. I think it's a great platform, and looking forward for the next 5 to 6 months. So, Marc, I'll let you do.
Yes. Yeah. Hello, I'm Marc Barbza. I'm the Director of the Digital Security for Canton Vaud. Very pleased to be here with you. Let's start perhaps with the first question to you, Evelina. Please, could you just explain who are you, what's your organization, what's your objective? Just present yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon. So my name is Evelina, and my background is a bit of hybrid between technology, law, and compliance, with the focus on how we transfer data from one country to another, being compliant with the local legislation. I'm one of the co-founders of Priv. What we built is a software which is used as an enabling technology by organizations that are collecting and managing sensitive personal data. They use it as a foundation so they can build digital products on their own, and they can collect, store, share, and use this sensitive data rightfully in compliance with the law, with existing and forthcoming regulations without stress about it.
Okay, thank you. And you, Cyril, perhaps?
So my name is Cyril Aupert. I'm the founder of Access Informer. And after over 15 years of working in various IT audits, consulting, security, and compliance roles in large organizations, including KPMG, Philip Morris, and Kraft Foods, I've embarked on this mission to create Access Informer, which is a solution to simplify the analysis of user access rights across platforms, and especially SAP.
Okay, and why did you choose to be part of Tech4Trust last year?
So in my particular case, I was at the time I was already in La Forge co-working space at the EPFL Innovation Park. So it really felt as a natural step to join this new accelerators that was just opening up at the same place. So.
And you?
Well, we have been around for already 8 years. And this wouldn't be possible, of course, without the support of the local community, the canton, Innovo, and all of the initiators of all good initiatives. And last year, when we heard for the first time about the Tech4Trust, it was also very natural for us to come and to apply and to share our experience, knowledge, and to exchange with the other companies. So we're very grateful that we were one of the first to experience what Tech4Trust has to offer.
Okay, thank you. Again, for this point, how the Tech4Trust help you? What did you learn last year for this?
Well, that is going to take a bit of a while if I'm sharing everything that we learned. But if I have to summarize it very shortly in regards to the time, the best we learned is that we have to talk between us. And trust technologies can very easily come together. Very easily we can combine them and we can provide enhanced value. So even recently we announced a collaboration with CYSEC, another company part of the program, and there are more that are going to come very recently. We appreciated the networking, all the exchanges that happened through the program, and we highly appreciated also the contact that we got with our advisor, Mr. Klaus Julisch from Deloitte, and many other things to share, but the time will not allow for that. I'm sure that you want also to hear another feedback.
And you, Cyril, what did you learn from last year? And
well, first I think Bastien was, unfortunately I don't think he's here today, but Bastien did a great job with all the events and all the lectures that were scheduled for the duration of the acceleration program. So that was really good. And similar to Evelina, I think the coach we had during those few months was really good. In our case, Pascal Dutel. It was really good to help us to refine and execute our sales strategy. But the most important point, I think, was really the value of having a single vertical with all startups in the same or similar field and be able to confront our ideas to our peers. And we've really got a lot from that experience. And we're still in contact with a lot of the startups that participated in the program.
Okay, thank you. And what would you recommend to the new startup now starting this new program?
Well, I think maybe the one thing that we felt was maybe a little bit lacking in the program was we did see a lot of companies sponsoring the program, which was great, which is the first step. I think we would have appreciated maybe a little bit more opportunity to do POCs, to get more feedback from the various companies. I think that's certainly something that can be maybe improved a little bit, but overall it was really a great experience.
What I wish to tell the other startups for this program, or what I wish the program to offer? Which first?
What will you recommend?
Yeah. Okay. So for the startups
and for the program that they will do.
Okay. So first for the startups, what I would recommend them is to be present and to go to as many networking opportunities as possible. There are great people out there, and yes, it will be possible to execute more POCs, as Cyril said, if you're out there and if you speak to people, if even initially you don't think that this is a target for you. So be present with your startups. For the program, do we jump directly to the recommendation for the programs?
I think that was the last question. So wait.
Okay.
Okay, I go further. For you, Evelina, today, what are your challenges or your opportunities you see today?
That was a big question because the industry we are mostly in healthcare has been developing a lot due to the coronavirus and in terms of technology. So we see a lot of happening in terms of telemedicine, remote monitoring of patients, and they all require the patient consent management and the properly data structure. So we have been seeing a lot going on. At the same time, because I already mentioned the COVID situation, it has seeded quite a lot of fears out there, we know that. But for us, it gives a lot of confidence, so we decided to put our software in open source, and this is a word that we heard several times today. It's probably the clearest form of transparency that the software can bring on the market. And for us, it opened a lot of new opportunities. As a small team, we have been extremely focused on the healthcare industry, but with the release of the open source, we have been receiving other requests that are coming from mobility, smart cities, and other industries, even in fintech. So it's an entirely new chapter for us starting right now.
Okay, thank you. And for you, Cyril, what are your challenges, opportunities? And another question is about COVID.
Yeah,
How
sure.
is affecting you?
Sure. So I think for the moment, one of our key challenges is actually to build the team. I think we didn't follow a usual way of creating a company. I've created a lot of the company and the product by myself. I'd worked a lot in the industry. I had a clear vision of what I wanted to achieve and enough insufficient development skills to get started. So after we found the customers, now really I'm building the team. So this is not the recommended way, but this is our way so far. The main impact from COVID is, of course, we had a number of POCs and projects on the way, and this got completely put on hold or even cancelled. What I did is really to step back and to focus on the existing major customer we had, and to try to please them, to make them happy, and to make sure they were going to renew the subscription, which they did. And at the end, the results were very positive. With all the development we've done over the last few months, they not only renewed the subscription, but recommitted for at least another 5 years, and agreed to increase the subscription price to reflect all the added functionality we had developed. So to make your customer happy, I think is a good time during COVID.
And maybe the last question, what is your vision for the future for your company?
So I think we have a clear vision on the product, on what we want to achieve. Of course, the main thing now is the objective is really to expand the sales. And I have to admit that the direct sales for B2B has been quite challenging. I definitely underestimated the complexity and the time it would take. I think now given the COVID experience, I think now we're focusing more and more on indirect sales and trying to establish partnership with resellers, with integrators, with consulting firms, and so on, to really try to benefit from the existing relationship with their customers in order to present the product. And yeah, I think that's the main shift we're doing.
And you, Evelina, your vision for your company?
Well, these days we're speaking a lot about what happened since 2012 when we started, and we're quoting a famous person from the US who was saying back then that privacy was dead, which obviously didn't happen, even for his company. I guess you know who I'm speaking about. Then for the years, we're having a number of discussions, and we heard many times saying that privacy tech, it's not scaling. But 2020 proved that this is wrong. And when we're going towards to technology-enabled technologies first in any aspect of industry, education, medicine, and you name it, trust and privacy should go first. So the future is extremely bright.
And maybe I have a last question. So your recommendation to Tech4Trust and Trust Valley, what should they improve for this new round?
Today again we heard very clearly that trust is lost. It is lost indeed, and trust needs to be restored. I think that the only way that we can do that is if we join our forces and we go together stronger. It has been about many times during the discussions today. I can see this proven again from the small companies here, and I see in their eyes and actions that they're ready to cooperate. And with some small exceptions, I haven't seen the same drivers and operational willing of the bigger companies and corporates to join efforts with the small one. And I really believe that we have the power to prove that the Trust Valley is not a Swiss-based initiative, but we can bring it at the level of a world-class Trust Valley if we work together as small actors with some of the leading technologies providers and leaders like Kadelski, SIGPA, and others. They just have to trust and talk to us. We have a lot to offer, and I'm pretty confident that we can achieve so much more together. Just talk to us. That's it.
So it seems that it's a call for action. And you, Cyril, maybe your recommendation?
Yeah, I think definitely this extension of corporate collaboration, I think, would be great. And as I mentioned, I really believe in this opportunity of collaborating, building this community. I think I could see on a very small scale how did it work last year with the program, and I can only see how it's going to expand so much more. I think just a little bit concerned with if it continues with the same pace. I think this room is going to become very small, very quick. I think next year you have to book the Swiss Tech or something.
Thank you. And finally, last question, and then after we are done. So as we discussed, I have 2 girls, 8 and 11. So it's funny because Saturday, my girl will go to the EPFL to have the first coding in Python. I have no clue about Python, what is it, but she will explain me. I'm looking forward. So as we have seen, we don't have a lot of women in this program. So what would you recommend to improve this diversity in cyber, in a startup?
I think that this is changing. Again, looking back 8 years ago, when we started, I see that these trends are changing, and I see more female joining this type of events and the industry that we are. Some recommendation, probably rather like sharing experience why I think the situation is like that. I think that women see them not that needed in the industry. And I somehow feel that if they don't have the background of being cybersecurity experts or IT engineers, they don't project themselves being part of the ecosystem and having a leading role in this. I can prove that this is wrong. And if you think about it, you have so great genius out there and here today. And the females are having, by nature, these soft skills that can turn this technical product into something that is so easy to sell and to market. So probably just to give a little bit louder voice that the skills that women have are needed in the industry, even if they don't have this deep tech expertise coming from the university, which is changing right now. And the last point probably that I want to share, because it was very recently that a colleague of mine, Stephanie, who has also a very diverse background in software engineering and law, together with myself, we wrote an article, Are Developers the Next Lawyers to Be? Because if you give a thought about it, today we're expecting the developers to write systems that are GDPR, Swiss DPA compliant, and so on and so on. It's the very same like going to your lawyer and asking him to code you an application. We put so high barriers on the developers without giving them the ability to interact in a very native manner with someone who is expert there. So again, calling to all the women that are out there today, experts in law, marketing, sales, you have a place in cybersecurity, in trust tech, and in any IT company that you have the willing to join. You are needed. And later on, when you have the young talent like your daughters, they're ready. Then probably we'll have more female than male in the industry.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do agree with you. We need one woman in this field. Thank you. Thanks. So before we go to the next round, we're going to look at the result of the coup de cœur of the round before. So you can put the results on. And we're going to go into round 4. Sorry. So we can comply. Congratulations. So for the next round, I have Leo Bolkanin from Head of Cybersecurity at Novum, and Olivier Crochat from C4DT from the EPFL. Please welcome. And then we have a couple of startups again. So Cryptolex, CSEC, Psyquant, Unifence, Duoki, Diadem Tech. Please welcome. So you probably have noticed we have 30 minutes. We are in advance of 30 minutes, which is usually not usual for a conference like that, but it's because we skipped the pause. And the idea that we're going to give you more time after the last round and the conclusion to go and meet with the startup. So we thought it'd be a more qualitative time afterwards so that you can go on the other side. They have their little stand and they can explain more about their product, their solution, and their team. So that's why we're skipping the break so that you have more time at the end. So let's go with round 4. Thank you.
Hello, you want to start, please? Yes, welcome. It's a real pleasure to have you here. My name is Leo Bolshanin. I'm working as head of cybersecurity for Romandie at Adnovo. It's rather a large Swiss technology company, but I have a previous entrepreneurial experience, and I was exactly in the same case as you previously. So this is why, for me, now it's a special pleasure to have you here, because you are our future technology leaders. And it would be a pleasure for me to discover more about your business and your passion, your team. So I give the word back to Olivier.
So I'm Olivier Crochat, the member of the Center for Digital Trust at EPFL. And I have to say also it was a real pleasure to have a look at this, all those submissions. I think it was really interesting to see a broad range of propositions. Trust is quite large, so we have a lot of things, interesting things there. And also different maturity level, from really early stage ideas to client support, or how to define the market and things like that. So it was really an interesting process, and I'm looking forward at this next month helping you to work together on the success. So let's start for the first one.
Yes, okay, perfect. So let's start with Cryptolex. Could you tell us more about your team? What is your background first?
Hi everybody, it's a privilege to be here, thank you very much. Cryptolex has been founded in 2015. My name is Viken Bayramian. The bad news is that I'm a lawyer specialized in commodities trading, but Alec Avedisian is an EPFL engineer. He talked to me about blockchain years ago, and then we created Cryptolex. Today we are a team of a board of 4 people. We have 3 developers. And I will explain once you ask me about what we do.
Excellent. So, what do you do? What is your unique value? Exactly. What is your unique value? How are you different from others? What's your vision?
Yeah, we've been talking about trust a lot. I mean, and we think that trust is really a critical thing, and we believe that blockchain and distributed ledger technology is really the best vehicle to do it. The way we created a cross-blockchain certification application. We called it Entity, N-T-I-T-Y. And the aim is to allow everyone to certify everything on the blockchain, to track everything on the blockchain. You know, the beauty of the blockchain technology is this horizontality, the community-based approach. And this is what Entity is aiming to do. And we moved that the Entity into a real-life situation. So we created the first Swiss mechanical luxury watch that we are wearing, fully certified on the blockchain back in 2018. That means every component of that watch and every phase of the fabrication of the watch is fully certified on the blockchain. We also created a voting system called Vaud, V-O-E-X, which is based on the blockchain, and we are really surprised that you're not using it here today, but we have over 10 big institutions in Switzerland who has used it since March 2020. So the aim is basically to allow everyone to certify everything, to do this horizontality approach, traceability, and enhance trust. That's what Cryptolex does.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. So for the next one, if you're not a lawyer, you'll have to stick to the 30 seconds, please.
Hello, my name is Matthieu Verbaere. I represent CySec. As a true startup, we have t-shirts. CySec stands for, as you can guess, cyber security, right? We are based at the EPFL Innovation Park. The company was created in 2018 by Patrick Trinkler, Yassine Felk from ID Quantic, also a famous cybersecurity company in Geneva. We have a big traction on the market. We're already 25 people, lots of engineers, security engineers, software developers. And we created the company because it was at the time when Bitcoin was really high, about $20,000, and every single bank in Switzerland wanted to have a new service for cryptocurrency. But it was very complicated from the IT perspective, so we wanted to make it easier and have a plug-and-play platform for them. Which leads to the next question.
What do you do and what you...
So to answer that need, thank you, we designed a platform which is doing confidential computing, which is protecting software, code, Protecting data at rest and in transit is kind of easy. There are multiple solutions to do it, but protecting data being used is very difficult. So this is the new trend in security. This is what we do at CySec with our flagship product, ELCA. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. And so the next one is Psyquant. So the same, could you tell more about you and your team? Who are other people in your team, or?
Basically, Psyquant is a company based in Zurich, founded in 2018. We have a great team with more than 100 years of experience, and I like the fact that we are doing cyber risk modeling, and I like the fact that they are not only focused on that, but they can see bigger. So what that means, they are able to see what is next after cyber security linked to insurance, but what will be the future of the insurance.
Okay. So having an holistic vision on cybersecurity, right? Okay, and what is your core proposal? What is the particularity of your company?
Yeah, we are able to do the cyber risk modeling with using the company's data. We are not using top-down approach as our competitor, but we are really using companies' data. We combine that with the vulnerabilities of the company. That means that we are able to have a dynamic view of the company because we are talking about cyber risk. It's something like you have to think about it like a process, not only one shot. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned 100 years of experience. You do not look that old, so I believe at least you're 2 in the company, no?
Combined, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you. I have gray hair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Duoki, that's your turn.
Yeah. Your voice was secured.
I'm the founder of CEO on Duoki. I have a lot of experience in security. I was last year launching the SEBA bank, the crypto bank. So now I create my own venture. In the team, we have the most famous team in cryptography based in Denmark with Ivan Bamgaard, which is doing the algorithm. And we also have Jean-Baptiste, which is part of the team in terms of strategy and business development. And we work also with HS Valis in terms of research. We launched the company to solve one big issue that most of the, let's say, the big bank or the big corporation have, is protecting documents, especially in this era where we have people working at home. And we would like to do that via a simple way to manage encryption key. And Duoki has solved the problem to have one key in a central place. In fact, we solved that without having the key in a central place. And we use breakthrough cryptography called multi-party, where the encryption key never exists in one single place. So it exists in shards, and with that, we are able to protect also the cloud and help company to adopt the cloud without letting the cloud provider managing your encryption keys. So we're building trust, letting the companies or corporations manage the encryption keys. That's the innovation we do.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Good luck for the rest. And so we're getting close to the end of our day. So the next round is going to be the last round of the day, round 5. And for that, I'm going to call Sylvain Passini, who was there already this morning, and Frédéric Moger from Simsmosoft. please, if you can come and join me. And then the startups for round 5 are Ubicom, Kimbaker, Edener, Yeswiak et Décentrique en ligne s'ils arrivent à nous rejoindre.
Congratulations for being here and selected in the Tech4Trust program. So we start with Ubicom. Who are you and what can you say about your team?
So hello everybody. We are a cybersecurity agency based in Martigny in Wallis. So we are 7, 3 seniors and 4 juniors. We are specialized in cyber risk prevention, especially, and we accompany company to help them to protect them from hackers or any kind of attacks. We are specialized in secrecy management, data protection, and governance.
Okay, thank you. What makes you so unique?
So we develop a solution which is based on a questionnaire of 300 questions to define the cyber risk exposure of a company in order to help them to correct, remediate all the vulnerabilities they can find on different pillars. It can be technical, can be human resource, on technical depth, legal, or human engineering. Exactly.
Thank you. Next one is Kim Boker. Hello.
Hello. Ooh.
Can you present, please, yourself and your team?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Frank Tiambo. I'm the co-founder of Kim Boker. Already a very good news. For round 5, my co-founder is my sister. So that is also balancing the gender that we have during this round. So Kim Boker is a Swiss-based digital healthcare startup which helps anyone to pay in advance medical services to financially underserved people in developing regions and beyond. So as I mentioned before, we are with my sister, who is based in New York, and we are based I'm based in Renan. And we have the chance also to have our operation manager here, Simon Olenga, who is running the pilot in West Africa for 10 months.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. So the startup is Edener. Please, can you present your team?
Yes. Oops. Thank you very much for having here with you. Raphaël Picard, so I founded the company 2 years ago, but we started development of the product only 1 year ago. And thanks to COVID, all the developers and the team has speed up the development and finished the product 2 weeks ago. We are so a team of 5 persons, 3 developers, quite many others with expertise from cybersecurity, expertise from telecom, and implementation of large projects, but we target mainly customers, I mean B2C users.
And what do you offer? What is unique with your proposition?
We develop an electronic safe targeting the consumers for all your documents to be digitalized, stored in a safe way. And in addition to that, we developed an artificial intelligence that sort all the documents into the right folders, enabling you to forget about the mess of your computers and hard disk where you have all your files messy and duplicates. And that saves your time, that gives you trust. Of course, it has to be extremely secure. So we partner with major companies, not yet finalized on the signature of those partnerships. And we aim to go for quite large ambition with hundreds and thousands of people as beta testing in 2 weeks from now.
Thank you very much. So next startup is Yeswiak.
So hello, I'm Emilie Foubert, the CEO of YesWeHack, and I'm with Estela Loureiro, who is our legal manager. YesWeHack is the leading bug bounty platform in Europe, servicing hundreds of organizations of all sizes and in industry in about 30 countries right now. We have offices in Paris, Munich, Singapore, and of course Lausanne. And our product.
Yes.
We have our crowdsourced provide to organization scalable, agile, and cost-effective solution to detect and fix vulnerabilities before bad guys find and exploit them. So basically, our customer run a bug bounty program on our platform, and with ethical hacker, we can receive financial reward by reporting vulnerabilities under the strict rules of the program they have to follow.
Thank you very much. So I think the last startup is online. You should see it. Hello, please.
Hello.
Please, can you present yourself and your team?
Hi. So yeah, I'm Elena Di Mula, representing Decentric today. I'm part of the business development team. Unfortunately, you cannot see me in the picture you have there because I'm based in Barcelona, but the rest of the team is in Zurich. So a bit about our team. We are currently 12 people and we are constantly growing. We are 7 different nationalities in the team. We're quite international. And we have assured actually this week our new, the seed round of funding, with 3.5 million. We're actually among the winners of Tech4Trust in 2019. And yeah, that's a short introduction of us.
And what is your unique selling proposition, please?
So yeah, at Decentric we realized that most of enterprises are having a very hard time unlocking the value of data. So we are trying to solve this problem by creating data ecosystems. And we are doing that by utilizing the latest technology of confidential computing and allowing, in other words, enterprises to collaborate externally and internally in order to build these ecosystems.
Thank you all for the explanations on your presentation, and have a nice journey during all the Tech4Trust acceleration program. Thank you.
Sylvain, there's going to be one more startup that is connected, so you're doing that so well, so we're going to let you continue.
Sorry, I missed one. Diadem? It was not on my note.
Hi guys,
sorry.
Can you hear me all right?
Hello.
Hello, hi. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce our company, Diadem. I'm Matthew Verbaere, one of the founders, and my colleague, Amaury, should be in the room with you somewhere. So it says, as it says on the slide, Diadem are all about creating a better world for mobile network operators to form contracts with customers by creating a shared and trusted secured space for product and billing structures. So we're using the blockchain together with a customer app to establish a shared record of mobile phone contracts in the cloud. So the 2 real reasons we want to do that, firstly, in the mobile space is a huge cost of servicing customers. One of the biggest call drivers into call centers is billing issues. And the Diadem platform solves that by establishing a truly shared view of a customer contract and bill. So it avoids any billing confusion with customers. And secondly, the other issue we have is that traditional billing and support systems are very rigid, limited in their ability to support new product types. It takes a long time for products to get to market. Now, by abstracting the product structure into the blockchain and making it very highly configurable, we hope to be able to overcome that problem and allow companies to bring innovative products much quicker to market. And it's a massive market as well. We estimate there are, for example, around about 14 trillion global usage events. That's text, SMS, data events per year. So it really is a global sector. And we're growing a global team as well. So we've got members and advisors in Switzerland, UK, Germany, UAE, and Canada. And we're getting to the point now where we're developing the technology, having key decisions and key conversations with industry and taking on knowledge from industry. It really is a really exciting project to be involved in. So thank you for the chance to highlight the company. I hope we end up working with some of the talent in the room. And that's the end of the presentation from Diadem.
Thank you for the presentation. Is there any surprise startup now?
No, I think.
Okay. So
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to announce now the round 4 coup de cœur. So congratulations, Cryptolex, you're round 4 coup de cœur. So we're getting to the end of our day. It was a very, very intense day, a lot of discussion, debates, content, a lot of innovation, and hopefully a lot of collaboration moving forward, starting today. But to give you kind of the conclusion of this day and the start of the launch and the start of the journey, I'd like to welcome Jean-Philippe Lallemand, Managing Director from the EPFL Innovation. Please welcome.
Thank you. Well, pleasure being with you. So, yes, indeed, it's been a very intensive day, very rich day, from my opinion, and I think we're going to have an apéro, something like that. So, I'll be happy to conclude quite briefly this day. Let me first of all mention why the EPFL Innovation Park is involved, why we are acting as the operating partner of the Trust Valley and the organizer of the Tech4Trust program. So it all started about 2 years ago when we were contacted by SIGPA regarding Square One, so the future hub for digital trust startups and companies and established companies in Lausanne, and then we went into the discussion with SIGPA and with the canton, and on the economy of trust, about this need, this opportunity. And then we looked a little bit at the startup we support. So at EPFL Innovation Park, we support every year hundreds of startups in Geneva and in Lausanne, and we realized that 20 to 30% of the company had a clear link to trust. So this is massive. And obviously, this told us that there was something to look at, and that's how we got involved, and how now we're so happy to work with the canton and help bring this Trust Valley to life. So, to summarize a little bit what we heard today, I think the first point is why at the Trust Valley and why now. And it was very clear this morning that there is an agreement on the state of urgency that comes out of the digital transformation, the fourth digital transformation. Just this clicker. For the slides. Okay, thank you. We have some slides, so good news. And this is also the geopolitical situation. Obviously, the misinformation we are getting all the time. The dominance of the large players, the large technology players, the GAFAs and others, obviously, all of that creates a great urgency, a need for much more transparency and much more trust. So the opportunity is there. There's a clear need at the moment, and there is. This need, by the way, is not in isolation. That's the other thing we learned today. Clearly, that was made very clear as well. It has to be linked to other changes, such as climate changes. It has to be linked to maybe future trends in also biology or genetics, at least, and other aspects of that. So globally, there is big opportunities. So the question is, can we, as Switzerland, can we, as Romandie, take this opportunity, and are we in a position to do that? So clearly, I think what came out of this morning as well is that, you know, the Swiss branding, the open democracy that we have, our position in innovation, well known that we are among the top ones in innovation, the international organization in Geneva, all of that are very clear assets for us to move forward. So it does really makes sense for all of us to go ahead after these opportunities. We also talk a lot about the pole of excellence, which I think probably appears again here in the region. I don't know. I'll come to that later. But, so there is this rich pole of excellence in the region, and clearly we talked about 500 experts, 300 companies, obviously all the academic institutions that are here, and the support of the canton. We have all the assets to get going with that. So this is very very good news, obviously. We also have seen the business leaders, the captains of industries, the SMEs, the startups clearly that are very rich in this region. So we have all the assets, but there are still very clear challenges as well that were highlighted this morning. So the fact that we're still not connected enough, not federated enough towards this common goal. So there's a lot of room here in doing better. There's not enough VC funding. We learn about that as well. I think we agree in all sectors, but quite importantly in that sectors, because it's very difficult to make national champions emerge in this sector as well, and to a degree not enough government support. So I'm not talking so much about the canton, but the administration not willing to necessarily use the technology available from the local companies also in that field. So all of that makes a quite compelling case for a Trust Valley organization that we're putting together and we're officially launching today. And as a reminder, here are the missions of the Trust Valley. So those 6 missions are here to both address the opportunity and obviously close the challenges, the deficiencies that we may have today. I will insist again on a couple of missions. Of course, the first one, the first 2 ones, reference and promote, are quite obvious. We talked about it. We already done quite a bit of work on that, and it's all starting. But the 2 very important ones are probably beyond networking, are the projects and the talents. So the projects, Tech4Trust is one of the projects, obviously. So the project will be our key focus in the coming weeks. And I will mention a little bit more about that. But Lenny presented the 2 other main projects we are working on at the moment. So the project in health, so trust in our health solutions. The project in food, trust in nutrition and agriculture. These are 2 of the important projects. Talent also is quite a unique and important topic. We mentioned this morning very clearly, it was mentioned by a number of participants, that in this field of trust and cybersecurity, talents are very scarce, and it's quite important that both the talents and the company are kept in Switzerland. I think the point was mentioned that some people with this kind of capabilities have no chance to advance within companies today, and therefore may quit Switzerland. So this is an area where we'll put a lot of focus. So essentially, all the missions are clearly linked to a lot of the comments that were made today. So we think they are largely validated in their setup. One important point is the philosophy behind the Trust Valley. So the philosophy is to stay very agile, clearly. It's also to focus on making an impact. And this is typically what we want to achieve with all the partners that support us. And as Lenny mentioned, we already have now close to 40 partners that have committed to Trust Valley, and many more supposed to come in the coming weeks. So maybe as concluding remark, I would like very much to thank all these partners that I mentioned. They were here. I will start obviously by thanking very much again the cantons that are financially and much more than financially behind the cluster. So thanks a lot Raphaël, thanks a lot Nicolas, where is Nicolas, or Gianfranco, they're not here anymore, but they're probably online. I would like then to thank obviously all of the partners. I would like to thank a lot, sorry, the team. So thanks a lot Lenny, thanks a lot Alexandra, thanks a lot all the people that made it possible today. And stay tuned. We're gonna be coming up with a lot of great projects, great information in the coming week. And on that, let's maybe meet and discuss at the apéro. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So just before going to the apéro, let's find out who is our coup de cœur on the round 5. And it's Yes React. Congratulations.